The South Dakota High School Football State Championships began today at the Dakota Dome by ending a long title drought for one school. Zach Bohr joins us from Vermillion tonight live. Zach?
That's right, Cooper. The state championships, the first of 7, began this morning with the state's smallest classification, Class 9B. And as is often the case with some of the smaller cities and smaller communities in our state, you see several generations of families playing in these games for their schools. And for example, Sully Buttes, their quarterback, Wesley Whitler, his dad, Jesse, played on their first state championship team back in 1989. And well, Sully Buttes has been waiting for their next one ever since then. In fact, Wesley's brother, Nick, played on their last team to go to the Dome back in 2018 and 2017. Well, both of those teams finished as runners-up, losing a couple of heartbreakers in overtime back in 2018 in overtime. Well, that wait for another championship ended today thanks in big part to the performance of young Mr. Whitler, the junior, running the ball 18 times for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he went 13 of 17 through the air for 194 yards and 3 more scores to earn the Joe Robbie MVP honors and help lead the Chargers to a 34-14 victory over Falkton, who coincidentally was the only team that had beaten them during the regular season. It started a celebration they've been waiting 34 years in Oneida to have again, and gives the Whitler family a little more championship hardware.
My dad, he mentioned before our semifinal game against Canastota, he's like, maybe someone can join the family too if you get a win. So it's pretty nice for me to share something with him there.
This feels pretty awesome. You know, start of the year knew we were going to have a pretty good team with things, so it's exciting to actually start molding and come together. You know, we really kind of changed leaf after we got beat by these guys in the middle of the season, and feel like we didn't play our type of football. So it was nice to have that loss in the middle of the year, and then these guys rose up.
And certainly someone else who was on the mind of a lot of people in Oneida and Sully Buttes, and maybe anyone who knows the history of it, Mark Sempner, the longtime former football coach who just passed away 2 years ago from a brain tumor. He was the coach the last time they were here in 2018, and certainly a lot of people happy to see them win a state title with his memory in mind. We'll have more on that coming up at 6 o'clock live on KSFY. And of course, we have another championship game coming up here at 7 o'clock. That's the 9AA game between Parkston and Hamlin. Plenty of highlights coming up tonight at 10 o'clock as well. And Mark Sempner was just a pillar in the community for Oneida and at Sully Buttes High School. He's most known for being the girls basketball coach who won 500 games both there and previously at Timberlake, as well as 4 state championships. But he was also the head coach of the Charger football program for 14 seasons, where he won more than 100 games and led them to state runner-up finishes 4 times. In fact, last time they were at the Dakota Dome in 2018, he was the head coach before he stepped down after the 2021 season after being diagnosed with a brain tumor, which he passed away from in October of 2022. Now, current head coach Tom Moore was his longtime assistant coach who succeeded Mark the following year. In their first trip back to the Dome, Sempner's memory was hard to miss on this day.
Oh, a lot. I mean, he's always on our minds with things we do. We still wear the OBC in the back of our helmets, remembering of him. So, you know, he's kind of helped build this thing, you know, years ago, and we try to keep the train rolling.
The Chargers today winning their first state title since 1989, 34-14 over Falkton. And one of the things about it was they lost by 6 in overtime in Mark's last title game to Cologne in 2018. Now, none of the current players obviously old enough or were on that previous team, but they had a lot of siblings who were on that team, so they mentioned how important it was to those kids for them to win this title in a very, again, emotional day. Mark's certainly on the minds, as you heard, of the current coach and a lot of people here. Now, we still have one more game coming up tonight, and you can kind of see it behind me. I'm going to back out of the camera shot here. We're going to have should be a dandy of a 9AA game between Hamlin and Parkston. Right now, it's basically just Parkston warming up. Now, Parkston, they are on a 23-game winning streak as we speak. They won the championship last year, and one of their victories in all this time was a 26-3 win over the Hamlin Chargers. That was Hamlin's last defeat. Hamlin also coming into this game 11-0. Coulter Kramer, the star for Parkston. We've seen him several times. He was one of our Pigskin Preview cover kids, so we're expecting what could be a down-to-the-wire battle tonight in the 9AA game. We'll have highlights of that coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, and 3 more games tomorrow. We'll have the 9A game, 11B, and 11AA. Live in Vermillion, I'm Zach Borg, Dakota News Now.